Alright, so we have this old Dell Latitude XT2 laptop that my dad rescued from his work garbage. And I brought it to school one day and plugged it in for a few hours, so it has battery in it. And it ran some tests on itself and said everything works, except it won't boot into Windows, because the Windows installation is broken. And I've tried doing the thing where it says restore to an earlier point in time, and I've tried doing the thing where it tries to fix itself, and I've tried opening the command line and doing anything from there, but it doesn't work. So now I'm trying to make a Windows 7 installation and repair USB using boot disk utility because we only have Macs. Sorry, it's called Bootcamp Assistant, and here it is working on making the file. Alright, time to try it on a different Mac, because I tried doing it on a newer Mac, which does not require a USB stick to install Windows, so it does not create a USB stick that can install Windows. So now I'm trying it on an even older Mac, because this one actually has enough space that it will allow you to make a Windows install USB stick. And that first Mac I tried to use doesn't have enough space on it to be able to install Windows, so it won't even let you create the Windows USB stick. So we're back on the first computer I was trying to use, because this one says it doesn't have enough storage space left to install Windows, so it won't let you install the ISO, but the other one keeps erroring out doing the only half of this that this one would actually do. So I'm gonna try doing this one on here, and then doing this one on the other. Yeah, this pop-up, because this computer has barely any storage space left, even though it's got a 2 terabyte drive in it. I will tell it to continue, and now it will try to do that, and then I'll see if this works, or if it's when I formatted the drive that screwed things up, and then I'll try doing the other part of it on the other computer, because that one should hypothetically do it. It should also hypothetically do this one, but it didn't, so I'm gonna try this. Alright, now that that one's done doing its thing, now let's do this one. We don't want to do that one. We've already done that one. I've got the ISO in here. I wonder what's wrong. Alright, that refused to work, so now I'm gonna try doing this using Raspberry Pi Imager on my Raspberry Pi Zero, which I doubt will work, because apparently Windows requires specific things when you're flashing Windows ISOs, but let's give it a try. Well, guess what? It didn't work. I then tried a bunch of other programs, and they also didn't work, and then I found one that seemed very promising, called WoUSB-NG, and I tried to install it, and through no fault of theirs, it wouldn't install, because, well, first it was something about a virtual environment that I then fixed by trying to install it via Thonny, I don't know how you'd pronounce that, is a Python IDE, because this is a program written in Python. Then some package called WXPython wouldn't install. I tried multiple times, and this was a dependency for WoUSB, and I tried multiple times to install it, and it just didn't. So then I kind of gave up, and I gave the USB stick to my friend who has a working Windows computer, because we have no Windows computers in our house other than this one, which as you've seen doesn't work. And this other one that my dad also pulled out of his work trash. It's a Panasonic Hyundai Tough Book. I'm gonna call it a trash book because it came out of the trash. It's a CF18. We don't have a charger for that one. We don't have a charger for this one either, but I used one for a number of hours at some point. We don't have a charger for that one, and so we don't even know if it works. But yeah, it was pretty funny because my dad came home with this case, this big nice case that he'd pulled out of his trash, with 2 laptops in it that he'd also pulled out of his work's trash. Now I have a Windows USB that I got my friend to make using a tool called Rufus. Is only on Windows, so hopefully it'll work. Alright, let's see if this thing even has any battery left in it. You can see it came with a stylus because it has a pseudo touchscreen. Here's a USB slot. Hey, it's still got power in it. Now let's see if it has enough to try to fix its own operating system. Launch startup repair. I've tried to start Windows, normally it doesn't. Goes to the splash screen. It spawns the 4 little dots that are that form the Windows 7 logo, and then it just crashes out and sends you back to that screen. It's got the funny little nub thing and a trackpad, tiny trackpad. You got 2 clickies here and 2 clickies here. Oh, and also whatever key this is missing. I think that's page up. Switching problems, da-da-da-da-da. This has never found anything in the past. I'll let it go again. Can't compare this computer automatically. View advanced options for system recovery and support. Yeah, that seems right. System image recovery. Recover your computer using a system image you created earlier. Windows cannot find a system image on this computer. Attach the backup hard drive or insert the final DVD from a backup set and select retry. Alternatively, close this dialog for more options. Retry? No. Cancel. More options, it says. If I hit cancel. Select a system image. Next. I wonder if it's not recognizing the USB stick as a system image. Ooh, advanced. I wonder what's under advanced. Search for a system image on the network, install a driver. Sure, let's try that. Oh, no, that doesn't, I don't have installation media for that. Advanced. Sure, let's try that. Sure. Oh yeah, this thing's neat. It's an express card to USB 3.0. It's got two USB 3 ports on it. Network folder. Cancel. I don't know. Cancel. Restart. And can't remember what button it is to open the boot options screen. F12. Wait. Well, Shift seems to have done something. F12. Yeah, it does that, and then F12. Yeah. Battery is critically low. Who cares? Oh, it died. I'm turning you back on. You are not dying yet. Come on. Dang it. Well, it looks like it's, like, solidly dead, so I've been intrigued. This guy is still dead, but has a lot of stuff on the bottom, and I want to see what it does. This is an old laptop docking thing. This, if I can get it out, which is a pain in the butt, is the battery. Aha, there we go. This is the battery, this is the hard drive, general information. 11.1 volt DC, capacity 42 watt hours. Do not put it in your garbage. This just kind of slots in like so. And this panel, I want to know what it does. I haven't looked in it yet. The screws are just gonna strip, can't open it. Alright, so there's no good audio for this part, because I brought it back to school and borrowed a laptop charger and plugged it in, because for some reason on their lower end laptops, Dell still uses the exact same stupid barrel jack. And I hit F1 key to continue, and then it told me to choose an operating system to start, which is not what I wanted to do, so I hit F5 to get these options. And then I selected repair your computer, and I waited for it to load. And then once it had loaded, I opened up the command prompt and tried using a command that I had heard was supposed to help fix broken operating systems. And it said something about a system repair that was waiting to finish, and I needed to restart to do so, so I then proceeded to restart, which, as it turns out, sent it right back to where it was the first time, and it did the exact same thing it does every other time you start it up. I then decided to view the problem details, which told me a whole lot of nothing. Gave me a few messages that mean nothing to me, and a couple of unknowns. And at the bottom, it gave me options to read their privacy statement online, or view an offline privacy document. And then once I clicked on the offline privacy document, I noticed that it had opened up a notepad, and that from there, if I go into open, I could get access to the normal file explorer. I then had a little bit of a poke around into a couple of folders, and upon finding nothing of interest, I exited. I then proceeded to close all of the windows I had opened and return to this menu from where I went to the advanced options. Once I was back in the advanced options, I opened command prompt and opened notepad to continue poking around in the files. And while I was poking around, I realized that if I set it to all files, I could see things like applications and stuff, and if I right-clicked and then said run as administrator, I could run them. I also tried to open File Explorer directly, but it would not let me. I mostly found a whole lot of nothing and junk that was useless to me. This thing I found, though, is pretty neat. It's a file called setup, and when I opened it, it gave me the option to reinstall Windows 7. I'll keep that in mind for later, because I want to reinstall Windows on this thing.
Sorry, I don't know why this next bit's sideways. That was an accident.
Alright, I've checked out the files that are on this thing. Well, I had it plugged in at school, and it would appear that it's missing a ton of DLLs, because I kept trying to open applications, and I kept getting the same few errors about missing DLLs. Application failed to start, error like OX800 something something something, tons of numbers, or subsystems required to open this type of file missing, which that's not a good sign. But I did manage to find out that regedit will open, so I'm going to turn this guy back on. Alright, we are back. Now, I open command prompt, notepad, file, open, libraries? Is that where it is? No. Computer. Boot. Oh. Change this to all files. Setup. Right click. Run as administrator. Windows 7. Language to install? English. Yes. Time and currency format? English. United States. English. Canada. Keyboard or input method? Not Canadian French. This is normal US keyboard. United States. Wait, hang on a second. What happens if I set this back to... Oh, that's why it's set to French Canada, because I accidentally clicked French Canada. That makes sense. Let's try. No, stop that. Let's try English Canada. There we go. Keyboard or input method, US. Yes. Next, Windows and 7. Install now. Ooh, what to know before installing Windows. I've never installed Windows before. I've never even used Windows before on any school that isn't a school computer, or any computer that isn't a school computer. I've also used Windows 11 for about 10 seconds on a laptop at Staples, but that doesn't count. I've also only ever used Windows 10, never any other version of Windows that I know of. Setup. Okay. Can I skip this? I don't want to install a driver. Why would I want to install? What am I supposed to do here? No, I don't want to install a driver. What happens if I close you? No, I want to run Windows installation. What the heck? What do you mean? I don't want to install a driver. What is happening? Yes. Why? What is wrong with you? Why are you trying to make me do things that I do not want to do? What? What is wrong with you? Alright, I've decided, screw Windows, we are now a Linux laptop. So, I will just... Nope, wrong way. Let's see if this still has battery in it. Yep, looks like it. USB storage device. What? I didn't want you to start Windows, I wanted you to launch this thing. What are you doing? USB storage device. What? What are you doing? BIOS setup. Apply. Nope, it didn't even try. It's recognizing the thing. I don't know why it's not booting into it. I'm trying to... This is a Lubuntu. So, what happens if I try onboard Nick? What the heck? Why won't you let me boot from the thing? Oh, I forgot to hit that. Wait a minute. If I hold it at this angle, the light turns on. What if I take you out and try you in this thing? I doubt this will work. But hey, we'll give it a shot. And now it won't recognize it. Okay. I highly doubt that this USB port will be functional, because it is thoroughly mangled on the inside. But maybe if I... Nope. Man. Windows USB. Let's try this again. See if I can find it in the boot options. USB storage device. Let's try this. This should be the Windows. BIOS legacy boot of UEFI only media. This drive was created by Lucas. It can boot in UEFI mode only. Alright, I've taken a screenshot of this.
I then decided to check the BIOS for any settings to switch between UEFI and BIOS booting, or to see if it would just tell me whether this thing could only do BIOS booting. I struggled for a while to remember which key it was to get into the BIOS, and then I checked the boot options, and sure enough, there it was.
Yep. Wow, I'm stupid. Alright, it would appear that this thing does not do oofy. Holy crap! It finally worked! Oh, yes! You have no idea how happy I am. Oh my gosh. I've tried
Many times.
so many different programs to write Lubuntu to this USB stick. And so many of them just flat out didn't support my thing. And I kept trying one program over and over again, and it just wouldn't work. But now, I tried Balena Etcher on a different computer, and it worked. And it took me so long to get Balena Etcher working, because I kept trying different versions, and none of them supported, none of them worked. But finally, holy crap. And the battery is also low, so that's not great. But I don't care, it worked. This is... Hey, come on. Oh, it's choosing the language. Oops, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Whatever. So you only want to support Ethernet, huh? So you'll let me move my mouse. Ooh, I wonder if I use the other clickers, because there's two sets of clickers. I need to stop accidentally changing the language, though. Oh, there we go. That's working. There we go. I just have to use the other set of clickers. Oh, yeah! Look at that. Battery is very low. Stop doing things. Don't like it when you do things like this. It scares me. Alright, remove the installation medium. Press enter. And the battery died. I don't care. It works. Alright, so I took it back to school and I got it charged up again. USB storage device, yes. Try or install Lubuntu, yes. Yes, there's a reason I'm using Lubuntu and not Ubuntu, because Lubuntu is lightweight, so and it's a little bit not the greatest computer. It probably could run normal Ubuntu perfectly fine, but like, you know, this is actually my first time ever installing any operating system on anything other than a Raspberry Pi, which doesn't really count, because that's just like, you plug it in your computer, you open the Raspberry Pi system imager, and then you click the operating system you want, and then you hit install, and it just like writes it to the disk, and then you put that in your Pi, and it works. So this is my first time properly installing an operating system. English, United States, and I have to use these buttons. Canada. There we go. Internet connection? Okay, I guess that's the only option. Try Ubuntu. It probably also doesn't help that I'm running this all off of a USB that is extremely not USB 3. 94% battery. Remaining 1 hour, 4 minutes. Wow, that's not good battery life. What's in here? Oh, 2048? Cool. Firefox. Ooh, transmission. I recognize that. Let's try a little bit of 2048 before installing. You know, I'm not bad at this game. I'm not particularly good either, but... that was stupid. Maybe I lied to you. Maybe I am bad at this game. Gaming performance so far? First impressions? Absolutely fantastic. No stutters, no frame drops, nothing. Buttery smooth. See, the trick to this game is you gotta keep everything in the top. You can't go down, or to the left, or to the right, or down. Pick a direction. But you pick a direction and you stick with it. You don't go back the other way. Dang. That sucks.
Not an awful score, but do these work now? These buttons? No. Does this work? Yo, it works. The silly little nub thing works. But not the bottom clickers. Only the top ones. Here we go. Alright. Install Ubuntu. Wait a minute. Gotta check one other thing. Does this thing have internet? Like Wi-Fi, I wonder. Okay, you'd think it would, but like... There we go. Yeah, I know. I'm not bothering with getting an Ethernet cable routed up here. Neither of the above, but I'll stick with American English, I guess. We don't have a power source, and Ethernet, it would be a pain to route up here. Install alongside, or should I just erase the disk? Windows 7 already only has a tiny little partition, so I could just say install alongside. Why does it have SDA2? What's this? Why is it split into two? I can't shrink Windows 7. Yeah, screw it. We'll go with that. And then, why does it have another disk in there? Why is it split like that? That's so weird. Alright, whatever. Goober McDingus. Games. Next. I don't know what this means. Yeah, install now. Alright. Now, we'll let this do this. And I won't make you sit through the whole thing, so. What's this? What's wrong? Installation failed already. Maybe I have to erase the whole thing, which would suck. Like, I don't want to do that, because I want to be able to poke around in the Windows 7 installation, but, like, that might not be an option. I might just have to say screw it and wipe it. I could also go poking around. I don't know. Do I just delete the Windows 7 installation? Screw it. Erase. We wiped the whole thing. I gotta. Okay. Install now. Alright. I'll leave it until it finishes. It's done something, and it's been black for quite a while now, so. Ubuntu has been installed. Oh, it just went to sleep. Okay. Oh, crap. I accidentally turned it off. Wait. Did I turn it off? Okay, I did turn it off. Whoops. Oh well, hopefully it'll just boot into Ubuntu now. If this doesn't work, I'm just gonna do it again. Alright, it appears to be working, but I'm gonna have to bring this somewhere else because my mom's gotta have a meeting. Alright, here I am, somewhere else. Select your user and enter password. Okay. Did I already forget my password? I'm gonna have to go back and check the footage. Alright. Bungus. What? Did I misspell it? Or is it just being slow? Okay, it's just... Is it just being slow? No, it's just being slow. Okay, good. Hey, here we are. Wow, okay, that's fast. It's below half battery. Installing an operating system takes a lot. How much capacity is it actually? Woohoo! It's supposed to have 44.4 watt hours of electricity capable of being stored. It has less than 20. That's a laptop rescued from the garbage. I've decided that I'm gonna put Windows 7 on this thing by virtue of drivers, because you can still find drivers for this thing for Windows 7. Alright, I've got it plugged into Ethernet, so let's try again. Hey, it worked. Alright, so I've got my USB stick, all space constraints. How fun. Plug that in. And I've got Ventoy. We want Linux. Well, at least we know this thing is good for like basic web browsing and playing 2048. Ho, what do I do from here? Could go web UI. Okay, maybe I should just like extract this. I'm concerned that that noise that I just heard was the hard drive. That wouldn't be good. Aha, Ventoy GUI. Execute. Aha, let's see if it can run YouTube. Oh, power low. That means I'm at 10% already. I'm gonna have to bring this thing back somewhere where I can charge it, or just get a charger. It should be able to run YouTube. It's a little bit slow, but it's running fine. I never told you to do anything. Oh, right. It's a 5 gigabyte download. But I don't know if I have time to download 5 gigabytes. Screw it, let's cancel. And then turn this guy off, because... Actually, how much time do we... Remaining 7 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Shut down. 10.81 volts. So it's actually fewer volts than it claims to be. Interesting. Yeah, 8 minutes. That's not enough time to download 6 gigabytes. Shut down. It was downloading at less than 2 megabytes a second. What? Why are you here? I turned this thing off,
What is it?
and Ventoy is still here. Oh,
Yeah.
Ventoy's going away. 10% lasts you under 10 minutes. Alright, so we've got this flap off, and let's see what's under here. Alright, we've got what appears to be our Wi-Fi card, and I figured out why it wasn't detecting Wi-Fi in the Linux. I forgot. It has a Wi-Fi switch. If this is down like it is, the Wi-Fi doesn't turn on. But then if you push it up and then press this button, it turns the Wi-Fi on. So that's great. This, I'm guessing this might be for a SIM card tray, because I seem to remember reading somewhere that this thing does have the ability to do SIM card stuff. This might also just be another Wi-Fi card slot or something. And then we have our RAM, which is probably 4 gigs. I can check once we're back in the system. It's actually 2 gigabytes, and I knew that. I don't know why I said 4. Actually, I looked it up, and it turns out that stick is actually 1 gigabyte, but it has 2 gigs of RAM because it's got a gig of onboard memory. Why? Ooh, and also I wonder what's under this heat pipe. I also have a charger now for marginally more than anticipated by like a couple bucks. Shout out thrift stores. Enable Wi-Fi. Hey. I will turn you on. Yes, this thing does do a lot of loading. Yes, I'm going to reinstall Windows 7, if nothing else, for drivers, because I'm getting really tired of having to use these two. Because I keep going to use the two that are under the trackpad and then not being able to. Is the Wi-Fi not working? Will the Wi-Fi not turn on? Well, then why is the Wi-Fi not working? As I said, driver support. Alright, Ethernet. Gotta love 50-foot Ethernet cables. Internet speed test. Fast.com. Not sponsored, just easy to type. Wow, is that it? This is gigabit Ethernet and it's getting 150 megabits per second. That's sad. Oh, there's 320. Oh, and it's dropping. That's less than a quarter what it's supposed to be getting. It was just being really, really slow. That's not a good sign when you're running a lightweight Linux distro. If your computer is running like garbage on a lightweight Linux distro, that's really sad. Hey, look at this guy. It can run YouTube to some extent. It doesn't get very loud. What resolution is this playing in? 360p. We can get 720p. We can do 720p. Can we do 720p full screen?
And not only that, but this one also seems to
Almost.
work.
Well, it is. It's not a good sign when it's chugging a little bit running a YouTube video at 720p. I wonder if I can adjust the volume here. Full screen YouTube doesn't do great. Strong start, strong start. Let's go back to downloading Windows 7 file. Alright, now we'll leave it to do this. Alright, I've decided I'm not gonna wait 3 hours. It's about 25 minutes later, and it's taken 25 minutes to download about 750 megabytes. And I've decided I'm not gonna wait 3 hours for it to download that file, so I'm gonna download it using a different computer, and then come back. Alright, so I've got Windows 7 on this USB stick that I've got plugged in. And that file that was for Windows 7 Ultimate, the video that I used to find it was taken down from YouTube for some reason. So I couldn't find it on the computer that actually can download things at a decent speed. So, now, I've got to delete ei.cfg so that I can use this Windows 7 ISO to install any version of Windows. Why is my USB not showing up? Automatic driver support for a PC card USB stick? Why can't I delete it? Alright, so I've got my ISO here, and I've deleted ei.cfg so that I can install any version of Windows 7 using it, using a tool called ei.cfg removal utility, which unfortunately is only for Windows. So I had to install Wine, which I had no idea how to use. So then I tried to install Play on Linux so that it would have a GUI, but that just flat out did not work. So then I installed something called Wine GUI, which worked great and like the only button you could click was the first one you had to click when you first booted up. So that's fun. So I can actually use Wine. But yeah, now I'm gonna install my Windows 7 ISO onto this USB stick using Ventoy. Alright, so what I believe you're supposed to do next is grab the ISO and just drag it on to the USB. And then I believe that once you've done that, you're supposed to just boot off the USB, and then it'll give you the option of all the ISOs that are on the USB, which will only be one. And then you select the one you want to install. At least I'm hoping that's how this works, because if it isn't, I don't know how this works. Alright, it has finished copying over, so now I believe that all that's left is to reboot the computer. Alright, so I've got CS Warzone installed, and here's its half-life. I will test how well this runs. It's running via Wine, so I don't expect it to be perfect. And in fact, when it launched Counter-Strike at the end of installation, it was a little bit cut off. Sounds working, and it's actually running great. It seems to be running pretty good. My headphones are plugged in, so camera won't be able to hear it, but I can hear it. Wow, this silly little nub thing is actually working really well. Some screen tearing, although I assume that's just a Wine issue. And one thing I've noticed is that with this middle button, you can look around and move at the same time. But with the trackpad, if you're using the trackpad, as soon as you press a button on the keyboard, the trackpad stops registering inputs. And I've tested it, and this isn't just like a Wine issue or something. This happens on the desktop too. So I'm wondering if this is just a weird quirk of the laptop or if it's a driver issue, because I do not have proper drivers for this thing, I guarantee it. It runs opposite day on cool math games with an ad blocker quite well. Never mind, it chugs a bit. Now, just for the heck of it, this thing doesn't quite meet the requirements to play Minecraft, but I figure if I crank the settings low enough, it should work. Well, that seems to have gone well. Let's try an older version. Well, that didn't work either.
Careful.
Same crash message. Older version. Alright, so that version of Windows ISO did not install. It gave me some error about missing files. So I've got a couple of new versions of Windows to test out on the USB stick. And so now I'm gonna try installing Windows again to see if it will work this time. And F12, and it's not picking up the USB stick. Give me a sec. This USB port is kind of fiddly. Yes! Alright, USB storage device. I'm gonna start by trying this one. Alright, English. Install now. And I think we will just let this run. I think that worked, because it just spat me back to here after seemingly finishing everything. So let's try rebooting. Oh wait, it's booting off the USB stick again. Give me a sec. Hey? I'm not celebrating yet. I'm gonna wait until we've booted into the desktop before I celebrate. I don't want to celebrate prematurely and then have it taken away from me. Oh! Is it working? I think it's working. You know, I've never properly used Windows before. I've only ever used it at school and for about 10 seconds on display laptops at stores. Every computer in our house is a Mac, except for my Raspberry Pi. Made it into setup. Let's go! This is farther than I've ever gotten with installing Windows on this thing, because the last time it didn't even install Windows. To get to that product key, I would have to flip this thing over and possibly take the battery out. So I'm not gonna do that yet. Wow, I stopped recording right as it entered this by accident. Ooh, let's see if the touchscreen works. It does. Let's play some solitaire. Do the bottom two clickers work? Holy crap, they do. Can I hit the keyboard and move the mouse at the same time? Holy crap, I'm hitting the keyboard and moving mouse at the same time. It picked up the Wi-Fi when it was doing the setup, so that means the Wi-Fi on this thing's working now too. Another neat thing I've found, to click on something, you don't actually have to use the clickers. You can just kind of give the trackpad a smack. Alright, I've got it set up perfectly so that when I right click, it's gonna send all the cards to home and I'm gonna win. Yeah, that's my winning screen. Alright, let's see if we can Internet Explore. Yo, it's Google. Let's see if we can Google Firefox. Firefox ESR. Run. Let's see if we can do some YouTubing on Windows 7. We got YouTube running. I'm gonna get Windows activated.
Alright, for some reason all of my footage of me getting Windows activated disappeared, but I did get it activated.
Alright, so I've been trying to get Minecraft installed on this thing for ages. I started by trying the official normal installer link, which installed, and then it gave me some error about could not update installer or something like that. So then I tried the alternative download link for Windows 7 and 8, which is a standalone exe, and it gave me some error about a missing DLL that it was supposed to install itself. So then I tried another launcher called MultiMC, which told me that I didn't have Java. So then I installed Java, and then I went back and tried the original two launchers, which still didn't work. So then I tried MultiMC again, and I could create an instance and it installed fine, but then when it came to adding my account so that it would actually let me play the game so it knew I wasn't pirating it, it gave me some error about unable to verify Xbox login or something like that. So then after that, I tried that many times. So then I tried AT Launcher, which so far I've gotten signed in and I've created an instance. Oh yeah, and in the middle there I tried FTB. I don't think that actually installed. But now with AT Launcher, I might actually be able to do this. Oh, it's doing things. Oh, it says kill Minecraft. I think that Minecraft might actually be launching. Keep in mind, this thing does not meet Minecraft's minimum system requirements, which are some graphics card. This thing doesn't have a dedicated GPU. It's got an integrated GPU. Minecraft requires an i3. This has a Core 2 Duo. You know, all this stuff. So I'm not expecting Minecraft to run well, but if I can get it to run, that's gonna be spectacular. Oh no, what's this? This driver does not appear to support OpenGL. Alright, so I've got new drivers installed. Let's see if Minecraft launches this time. Alright, same error. Must not be the drivers. I think this thing just doesn't support the version of OpenGL this version of Minecraft is trying to use. So, older version time. Alright, this time, we're trying 1.14, because apparently they made some rendering changes in 1.15. So I'm hoping this version will still support whatever version of OpenGL it is that this laptop can do. Whoa! Something's happening. Oh! You have Minecraft! I don't know if anything newer than this works, because I didn't test anything between this and the newest version, which I probably should have, but the menu seems to be running fine. Let's see if we can load into a world. Aha! I haven't changed any settings at all, because I wanted to see how it would run with the default settings. You know, this actually is not as awful as I was expecting. Yeah, there's some lag spikes when you know, like, turn around and stuff, but that's just because the world's still loading in. Yeah, the world loading is a little bit iffy. See if we can't do something about that. That seems to be running a bit better. It's a little bit slow rendering in new bits of the world, but I've also still got the render distance all the way up at 12. See if we can't do something about that. That is choppy. Let's just try turning down the settings a little bit more. It's almost playable. Off. Let's see if we can't do something about the resolution. Let's try that. Clouds. We'll turn those off. Minimal. Off. None. What is our frames looking like? I'm hitting F3, you piece of junk. Strange. You know, I'd call this playable. I'm sure there are people who wouldn't. Viewing angles on this screen are terrible. Considering the laptop came out of the literal garbage, I'd say that's not bad. It's not running well, but it's running. Let's see what happens if I just dump the resolution. 320 by 200. It doesn't seem to have taken effect. What if I put it into full screen? Okay, that mouse is doing weird things. I don't actually think this made it run that much better. It certainly made it look worse. If I didn't have anything else to play Minecraft on, I would gladly play Minecraft on this. Oh, why has my mouse disappeared? Really wish I could get F3 to work, though. Alright, so I've got Fraps installed to help me measure my FPS, because for some reason the F3 menu is just not working. Now let's get back into Minecraft and see if we can figure out how it's performing. And the loading screen looks like we're getting about 100 to 120 FPS. Hopefully that's a good sign for in-game. Alright, so that's not a great sign. Now that we're actually in the menu, we're only getting about 50 FPS. So let's see what happens when we try to load up our world. Oh, and as soon as the panorama's gone, that FPS doubles. Oh, excellent. Just loaded in 2 FPS, 1 FPS. Oh. Now that things are loading in, it's getting back up there. What happens if I move the camera? Not good things. Oh, you know what I just realized? My render distance is still all the way up at 8. Probably turn that down. Maybe 5. Oh yeah, that helped. We've gone from 3 to 15. Maybe 4. Hey look, it's actually fairly smooth until I turn around. Very playable. Now, the real question. Can it run Doom? Of course it can. I've got Chocolate Doom installed on it, and there we are. And here we are, in-game, playing the game at a solid 35 FPS. How about Counter-Strike? Here we are in a bot match, hitting 60. Right, so here we are back after having adjusted all the settings to the max. Still locked at 60 in the menu. Oh, the game is stuttering a bit now that we've cranked the settings. Keep in mind this is still on software rendering, so I'll try changing that. Oh, never mind. It was just taking a sec. Alright, now let's see how it deals with it if we change the renderer from software to OpenGL. Alright, here we are back in game. Just gonna double check. Yep, we are now rendering in OpenGL. And would you look at that? Our frame rate's gone from probably being capped at 60 to hitting 100. And probably being capped there instead. Alright, now that we're in game, our FPS is just locked to 99 or 100. Not saying much considering it's 25-year-old game. I'm not very good at it though, I can tell you that much. Alright, let's see what happens if we hit Direct 3D instead. We're back in game, and once again, the FPS is at 100. Once again, we're between 90 and 100. Now just for the heck of it, let's try Sexy Hiking. For those of you who don't know, this is the game that inspired the game Getting Over It, and this game was kind of just thrown together, in case you couldn't tell. And the way you control it is you use arrow keys to walk around, and then to do any vertical movement, you have to use this hammer, but we seem to be getting a solid 50 FPS. So, alright, so now that we've got some testing done, I'll just show you around the laptop a little bit. So you open it up, and here you have your trackpad. 2 clickers, little nub. Yes, it's missing the page up key. And then on the screen, you have your power button for the whole laptop, a button labeled control. I don't know what it does. None of these 3 buttons seem to actually do anything when I try to do things with them. This one's labeled control. This one has a little screen rotation symbol on it, so I'm assuming that's what it's supposed to do. And this one has a little wrench symbol, so I'm assuming that's got something to do with settings. But none of them seem to actually work. And then, if you take the screen and twist it, you end up with the laptop in tablet mode, where you can just use the touch screen. On the underside of the screen, here we have this funny little rocker thing that slides back and forth. Little roller thing. Don't know what it does. Also doesn't work. And then a little button. It's got an arrow on it. Also, no clue what it does. Doesn't seem to work. Alright, so over here on the left side, in terms of I/O and whatnot, we've got speaker grill. You can see a bit of the speaker poking through there. We've got mini firewire, also known as 1394, a USB 2 port, some ventilation for the fan, and where the stylus would go if it wasn't missing. Around the back here, we've got another USB 2 port, this one absolutely mangled, with whatever this is above it. I don't know what that is, but the USB symbol over here is this funny little line under it. We have the Ethernet port. I believe this is VGA, and the power port. And then around here on this side, we've got, I don't know what this hole is for, microphone in, headphones out, the express card expansion slot, and this is a neat little bit of kit. It's 2 USB 3 ports to express card. And here we have an SD card slot. This one's an interesting one. It's mSATA and USB 2 at the same time. And then over here we have a wireless switch and button. Then on the bottom, the panel that allows you to access the Wi-Fi card in the RAM, the docking port, and the battery. Oh, and some more ventilation with a fan in it. And I'm sure this thing is absolutely filthy on the inside because it was used in a car workshop, but I'm not going to try to open it and clean it because I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to that stuff. But let me know if you'd like to see me try. I believe that just about wraps it up for this little laptop, to be honest. Not bad for free coming out of the trash. So, there you have it. Dell Latitude XT2. The T stands for trash. See you guys in the next one.
Subscribe.